Twitch, that type of stuff. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday? Is it Wednesday now? Happy Wednesday, everybody. Beautiful day. Completely different compared to... Now, this is going to be a different type of rant that I start the show off with, because normally I'm used to complaining and whining and being very, very angry that the weather is horrendous. But, ladies and gentlemen, let me inform you on how this weather was today here in good old Baltimore. It was in the 50s. And I know that sounds cold to you people down south, but up here, 50 sounds way better than 20 degrees. 20 degrees just has me feeling like everything's going to freeze off of my body. My hair's going to fall off. All of my limbs are going to fall off. Everything's going to fall off. I hate the cold. I hate the snow. I don't really hate it that much, though. I deal with it. It is what it is. The main thing that I really don't like is not being able to walk wherever you want to walk and do whatever you want to do, because sometimes you can't, because there's too much ice and snow in the way. That's what I really don't like. That's what gets annoying. But has everybody had a good day today? It's been beautiful. This we can't ask for much more than that, especially after we've had all of this crazy wintry stuff, and all these different towns in Texas don't have any power. So we have to appreciate what we have, and what we have now is some beautiful weather. Beautiful weather. Much different than what they're getting out there. And did Texas get hit again with something, or was it? Or is that just are they still reeling from getting hit that first time? Is it still cold down there? Is it really bad? How is it going down there? I haven't heard anything recently, because I've only seen the good news, like the good news we were talking about yesterday, where Texas is opening up, they're opening up 100%. So they had that little bit of bad news, but now they got a little bit of good news, because they're actually able to open up. They're opening up their businesses, which is always a positive for us to be able to, maybe get back to normal life a little bit. Hopefully we can get back to normal life. But anyway, that goes whether here nor there. What's going on, you guys over there on Instagram? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What's up, Shy? How are you? Allison up in the chat. Everybody's here. I love it. Volume's down a little bit. I can turn that up just a little bit. I don't want to turn it up too loud, but it looks like we're good there. Shy is hanging out, but I love it that Laura is literally at the casino right now. If you make a lot of money, you better send me some, because I'm your good luck charm. So this good luck charm's going to get you paid, Laura. I'm going to get you paid. I don't know what game you should do, though. I can't blow on your dice, so you're on your own in that case. Michigan Girl said, I'm okay if I can get this headache gone. Yeah, that's the worst whenever you can't get rid of a headache. Shy said, how are you? Shy, I am doing well. I'm doing great. What's up, Barry Jones has entered the chat. Glad to see you here, brother. I'm doing great. I am just getting ready to do this show. But had a busy day, real long, busy day. Got up at 5:30, normal stuff. Sometimes I fluctuate from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. I usually don't wake up later than that, because my body won't let me. I'll just toss and turn, and I'll be like, man, how late is it? And I'll look, and it's 7:30. I'm like, yep, guess I gotta go now. Guess it's time for me to get up and go rolling now. Okay, talk to you later. Dinner and drinks. I'm up $200. Yeah. Leave while you're up, Laura. Leave while you're up. Go get you some food and enjoy it. Enjoy that free food. Congratulations on the $200, though. That's awesome. Hopefully you don't come back tomorrow and let us know that you lost it all. Good luck. Shy said, oh, the print on your t-shirt, Lion King. Yeah, this is an old workout shirt that I got from my cousin. Dark Side Strength. I don't know. Does it say something on the back? Does it have something on the back? What does it say on the back, y'all? I don't know what it says. I know it's a weightlifting shirt, and it was actually Frank Thunder. It was Frank Thunder's shirt. It was Cousin Frank Thunder's shirt for a while, and then I saw that he left it. He moved to Washington State from Maryland, and I was like, he probably ain't coming back, so I took the shirt. I like it. It's a nice shirt. It's a pretty badass shirt, I think. Dark Side Strength. I like it. Pretty cool, if I do say so myself. And I try, I do my best. But sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes you can't. But we had a good workout yesterday. The shred shed has been cold and lonely the past few weeks. Leland has been gone he's been doing wrestling training. So he does amateur wrestling. So he's been doing high school wrestling. So he has to go to practice. And Ralph hasn't been able to make it into the gym with me. I guess he's just got a different schedule. I think he's doing like different workouts or something like that. So he's not necessarily coming into the shred shed as much anymore. And now it's just me. It's just Jordane in there. And it's a lot harder to go in there by yourself every day and try to get yourself motivated, especially whenever you have to lift some heavier weights. But I don't go crazy. I don't take too many chances when it comes to the weightlifting by yourself. So I've been having some really good days recently, and you guys know, like my hip, I get hip pain every now and then on if it's not my right side, it's my left side, and if it's not this side, it's that side. Well, I've been being disciplined, like I told you guys previously, whenever the pain started coming back, and I've been doing my stretches on certain nights, and I've been alternating that with some strengthening side, just strengthening up every single side of the hip muscle, and it's getting a lot better, and it feels really, really good. So I love it. Mirror image for us. You have to wait for a minute for us to read what's on your back. Oh, you didn't read it? Here, let me see. Boom. Boom. Can you read it now? Because I can't see. I can't, like, put it within your view and then see it myself. What does it say? Some, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not that flexible. I'm not that flexible, obviously. It's very hard for me to try to stay on top of it like that because I'm not that flexible. You can't see. You can't see. If you can't see, you don't know what the hell's going on, you know? So what did it say? What did it say? Only you can free your mind from your struggles or some shit like that? I think it's something like that. I'm not too familiar. I mean, I know it's a weightlifting shirt, so it's got to have some type of positive thing to it, you know? But that's just part of it. So it's been feeling really good. The hips have been getting better. Everything's been getting better progressively. And today I went in there and had a good little leg workout. And it felt really good just to get a good ass leg pump, man. It's just one of those things that I absolutely love. But I haven't been able to do it recently because I don't want to risk hurting myself worse if I'm already having pains, you know. So, hey, Alexis, how are you, Michigan girl? Take it off and read it, LOL. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and good to see you, Michigan girl. I'm glad that you're there. Good to see you again. None but ourselves can free our minds. Oh, that's good shit. Oh, that's what it says on my shirt. Oh, yeah, that's a good shirt then. It's very true. None but ourselves can free our minds. What's up, Mahoney Games has joined the chat. What is going on? We're just catching up with our day. You caught us right at the beginning of the show, so we're just doing a little bit of chit-chatting about the days and how much better the cold weather is going away and the warm weather is coming back, and we're so excited for the warm weather. And you know, none but ourselves can free our mind. Yes, you got it, Shy. You got it. You nailed it. But we're getting ready to get into Beyond the Mat. Have you guys ever seen Beyond the Mat? Has anybody here not seen Beyond the Mat? Because if you haven't seen Beyond the Mat, I recommend going to check it out just for your own entertainment, especially if you're not familiar with how the backstage stuff works. And it doesn't necessarily go over a lot of backstage stuff as much as it goes over the personal lives of the wrestlers, which I guess is obviously that's backstage stuff, but they don't talk about like the way that the wrestling business works or anything like that. They just give you a personal look into the lives of the groups of wrestlers. I think it was Terry Funk, Jake the Snake, and Mick Foley. Those are like the three wrestlers that they're kind of chronicling. Am I forgetting anybody else? Did they cover anybody else in that movie, or was it mainly them three? Because I know they had a bunch of people in it, and Stone Cold was supposed to be in it, but then they kiboshed that. But I'm trying to think if there was anybody else. It was just those three, right? Because I just recently watched it, and it still holds up. It's still very entertaining. I love it. It's fun for me. You know, it's definitely fun for me. And I thought it would be a fun episode to be able to for us to be able to go over and see if any of the younger guys here get like because I grew up watching it when I was a little kid. So if you're younger and you're watching it now, how do you feel about it? What does it do to you? Because whenever I first saw it, now I'm going back to whenever I first saw it. Daystone Wolf said I seen it. It was good. Yeah, it was. It's a very entertaining. It's very entertaining. It's very entertaining. But it also lets you in on some of the very, very deep, dark secrets in pro wrestling that we don't necessarily think too much about, and how that network is kind of, it affects a whole lot more than what we just seen there, especially with the Jake the Snake stuff and his father. That's going to be a little bit fun to talk about, because I see that a lot of the old school wrestlers don't talk about Grizzly Smith and the things that he did. And if you guys know Jake the Snake's story, then you know how Jake the Snake came into this world. And if you don't, then we're gonna go over that as I kind of go through the documentary. But it's not good stuff. Not good stuff. There's a lot of really bad stuff that goes on in wrestling, in entertainment businesses. There's a lot of bad stuff that goes on in everything. So we're just going to highlight some of the bad stuff, some of the good stuff, some of the silly stuff, some of the more entertaining things in it. And I think that where was he? Darnell, Cool Breeze Darnell, if you're still there. Darnell said, "I am not booked." In my Dennis Stamp voice, we definitely got to go over some of the Dennis Stamp stuff, because Dennis Stamp is a legend in the pro wrestling business. If you mention Dennis Stamp, if you mention Dennis Stamp, you at backstage at a wrestling show, you will definitely see it. You'll see Dennis Stamp. Dennis Stamp is the man. Dennis Stamp is a man. Everybody loves Dennis Stamp. I think he's okay, only because of the movie. I tried to watch some of his matches on YouTube, and there are a few of them out there, but poor guy wasn't booked, though. If there's anything in pro wrestling, you got to be booked to show up. You got to be booked, which isn't true, because I've showed up to so many shows that I wasn't booked for, and then I ended up getting booked because I showed up. Sometimes it just pays off to be ready. All right, so we have, let's see. That's not the paper that I was writing on. Where's my paper that I was writing on? Oh, there we go. All right. Anyway, it's really good. It's really encouraging, especially, dealing with all the wintry weather that we have to deal with, and then having it get warmer. But not only it being warmer, I was feeling really good today in the shred shed and getting a really good leg workout, and it made things so much better. It made it so much better. And I don't know, I haven't been feeling too great, especially recently, when it comes to my physical abilities. A little bit of my lifts have gone down, but they always fluctuate up and down. But I've been on a down slope recently, and today felt really good because everything felt healthy. Everything felt like it was ready to go, and I can't wait for the next couple of weeks, because these new workouts that I'm putting in are really making a change. And if that's the case, then I'm really I don't have to hold anything back, and I can just go crazy. So I'm excited about that, because I like going crazy. But Beyond the Mat was a movie that came out in the early 2000s, I think it was, and it was done by a guy who he's like a wrestling fan, but he's not he's not in the business, so he doesn't know too much about it, about how it all works and everything. So he's just kind of recording everybody doing their thing when Terry Funk, Mick Foley, and The Rock. And this was obviously the movie that had that legendary footage of Mick Foley getting his head bashed in by The Rock. It was written and produced by Barry Blaustein. Yes, the film focuses on the life of professional wrestlers outside of the ring. Yeah, it's an interesting one, too, because, it doesn't have too much WCW stuff. I think they have, WCW clips, but they don't cover a WCW wrestler. Terry Funk was wrestling at the WWE at the time, but he was also, I think he was mainly wrestling at ECW. And it's very, I love the idea of going over some of the Terry Funk stuff and seeing, because Terry Funk's been in the business for so damn long. It's crazy how long Terry Funk's been in it. But he grew up in the business. The Funkster was really funked up in it. Yeah, the Funkster was really funked up in it. Yeah, and have you seen him recently? Have you seen Terry Funk recently? I got to show you that because that blew my mind. That blew my mind out of anything. So let's get on to it. I'm going to jump on to one of the first videos, and this is one of the legendary videos from this documentary, because especially for wrestlers know exactly what I'm about to be showing.
One was unfortunately not as successful.
Oh no! Oh Dennis! Oh Dennis!
Now an exterminator. He was the self-proclaimed king of the cockroaches.
Are you coming to the show Thursday night?
No, I won't be.
Why not?
I'm not booked, for one thing. And what really bothers me is Dory Funk Jr. I have nothing against the man he's wrestling, but I could swear to you, I could guarantee to you that no one could have a better match with Dory than I would have.
Yeah, that's that sounds like every wrestler ever to have ever lived anyway. Of course, you shouldn't be in the business if you don't think you could do a better match. So good for you, Dennis Stamp. Good for you, Dennis Stamp. That confidence, I love it.
That part hurts. So, but I really wanted to be on as a referee, but
I like how he backed up though. He was like, I could put on a better match than anybody. But I will accept being a referee, but I'm not booked. I wanted to be a referee, but I'm not booked. You see, like, look at his head down. See, he's so disappointed that he wasn't a part of Dusty Rhodes. I'm reading Dusty Rhodes' book right now. Sorry, that's a little bit of a confusion. But Terry Funk, he's disappointed that he's not part of Terry Funk's retirement, and Terry Funk really wants him to be there. But poor Dennis Stamp, he's a wrestler, damn it! And if he's not booked, he's not booked.
The people who make the decision, whoever that would be,
whoever.
Didn't offer me any position, so I'm not booked. I won't be.
Yeah, he's not booked, but you guys need to see what exactly you're missing out on. This right here is an athlete. This is a professional athlete who's been a professional athlete for over 30 years. He's been a professional wrestler. He's wrestled all of the greats. I guarantee you he's wrestled all of the greats. Maybe not in the main event, but he's definitely wrestled them. Check out this cardiovascular activity.
I don't do any tricks, but I just jump. I stay fit. I watch what I eat.
You know what's funny about that though? It kind of looks silly, but I bet it's not a bad workout at all. Especially since he has those arm weights and he's kind of doing like jumping jacks with them. You know. I love the jumping jacks. I love the jumping jacks on the what's that thing called? What's that thing called? The trampoline? Tramberline? My grandma used to call it a tramberline. A tramberline, guys. It's a tramberline. I don't know if you guys know what it is. If you guys know what a tramberline is, but it's just like a trampoline, but you spell it with a B instead of a P.
Because I never know when my next match is going to be. I had my last match, I think it was 1991. So it gets to be a lot longer between matches.
And this was like in 2001.
I never know when I'm...
This was like in 2001, just so you guys know. Like he hasn't had a match in a while, but he's got to be ready. Dennis Stamp needs to free his mind. I always seen him in squash matches. Well, yeah, that's about like the ability that he had, you know. The Funkster was that exactly.
I'm gonna have my next match, so I've got to stay in shape for that. I've got to be ready.
You gotta be ready.
You
got to
be
be ready
50 now, and the phone could ring at any time.
And it does.
How's everything going?
I'm not gonna be here, but
Why aren't you?
because I'm not booked.
You're not going to be here. Why aren't you going to be here? Please be here.
I'm not going to be here, Terry, because I'm not booked. That's an old rule. That's an old rule I've had for a long time. Because I'm not involved.
I want you to come, please.
Well,
I'm asking you to please come, all right?
I already have other arrangements, and don't take.
And that's the thing too. You got to remember that even though like most people don't know who Dennis Stamp is, other than for like this movie, and he spent a lot of his career building other people and making other people stars and making them look good. I think that he's like obviously you see that Terry Funk cares about him. So like you grow relationships with your friends. Like we're all friends and we all work together and we all want to put on a really good show. But they've been friends for however many years. And I love how Dennis Stamp sticks to his guns though, because he's like, no, I'm not booked. I can't go. I don't care if you're never going to have a match again, Terry Funk. I'm not booked. I'm not going to be there. I don't care if I'm your friend. We've been friends for 50 years in the same business, and now you're going to retire and you want me there. But I'm not going to be there because I'm not getting paid to be there. You see, I wouldn't be there to celebrate for you. I'm going to be there to get paid to be there. I have to be booked. I don't think I don't think the money's necessarily his motivation. I think his feelings are more hurt that he's not on the show. He's not actually booked. They didn't think about him, you know? And that happens. Like, I know a lot of wrestlers who get offended because they're not booked on a show, but they didn't reach out. Or the vice versa, some type of confusion, that type of stuff. All right, we're going to do an early one now. Hashtag IHTP. I'll be right back. This will just be a minute, though. I promise, guys. If anybody comes in while I'm gone, tell them I'll be right back. Just tell them I'll be back. You know the deal. Okay, I'm coming. I'm back now. Did you miss me? Did anyone miss me? Yeah, so Dennis Stamp, obviously, like, his feelings are hurt, and he doesn't want to, like, ruin the good time or anything, but he also wishes that he was there. I don't blame him. I'd want to be there, too. It's Terry Funk's retirement. I'd be hurt. My feelings would be hurt if you didn't put me on your show, Terry. We've been through so much, Terry. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That right there. All right. Now listen to this part right here where he's talking about the older wrestlers, because that's part legit.
I want you to come, please.
Well,
I'm asking you to please come, all right?
I already have other arrangements, and don't take it personally, because I used to be in the dressing room and I used to see the old guys. And that's where I am now. I used to see the old guys that came in the dressing room that come around, and they look like old dogs, just hoping somebody would recognize.
Just hoping somebody's going to give them a bone. Old dogs, just wishing somebody was going to give them a bone. Yeah, that's a big thing that you see in wrestling a lot. Not necessarily like the international stars. They usually draw until they die, even if it's not a lot. They still do okay, But most wrestlers who don't necessarily like get to a certain level where people recognize them, you do see like a lot of the older wrestlers coming backstage and like they're just hoping that somebody will give them a shot. And I even remember one time when I was like 22, I was backstage finishing up a show, and there was a guy there, and he was like sitting there crying in the corner. And I'm like, what's going on here, man? What is going on here? And he's not like dressed or anything. I figured out later that he was a wrestler. But I was sitting there and I'm like passing by him, and then I see another guy come up to him, and the promoter walks over, and there's like three guys standing in the corner, and he's just like, man, at a certain point, time's just going to pass you by. Like, I can't use you, man. I can't use you right now. And the guy was like crying because he was like, I can't do anything else. I just want to wrestle, man. And it was such a bad. I felt so bad in that moment because I was like, man, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to just be begging to be on the shows and they don't want you on the shows. That sucks, And if anybody gets to a certain age at a certain point, that's going to happen. So you have to find your way out to get out gracefully, or it's going to crash and burn real hard, or you'll die doing it, like a lot of wrestlers do. So Daystone Wolf said, I think that Beyond the Mat is on YouTube for free. Really? I think it, yeah, actually, yeah. Whenever I was going through, I did see a couple of videos. There's like one where you can rent it. There's like 2 or 3 of them on YouTube where they're free. Like you can just turn them on and go. I mean, obviously you got to deal with the commercials that they put in them, but it's not too bad. I don't think it's too bad. Mahoney said, he is the guy who makes the stars, but never makes himself, if that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. That definitely makes sense. That's what that old school job used to be. That's what they used to do for that job. That was their job. They called them jobbers because their job was to go in there and get beat up and to make you look good. And there is a skill to that. But the problem is there's way more people who are not who should be putting people over than there are people who get put over. There's less stars than there are there's less stars out there than there are people, basically. And most people aren't the stars, but they want to be the stars, and they see themselves as the stars. But then there's like that little piece of delusion where it's like, maybe not quite so much. But you never know. You never know. You really never know. If you know like the history of professional wrestling, there's been so many different champions and guys on the top of their game who have had so many different body types. So it's not, it just really depends on the person. It really does depend on the person. Because what was his name? PCO, I think, and he was like in his early 50s maybe, or late 40s, but he had like a resurgence, and he was one of the Quebecers. So it can be done. It is done, and it can be done.
Why don't you come and see us?
I really have to be
Yeah, those old wrestlers begging for a spot, begging for a bone is so sad.
involved, and I'm not.
I want you to be there.
And I did ask you in April if I could referee some matches on the card, which
You're
would have been,
refereeing tonight, Tim.
which would have been,
You're refereeing tonight.
but I'm not.
Yeah, Mahoney, that does make sense. He is the only guy who makes the stars, but never makes himself, if that makes sense. Yeah, because majority of the time. So, and that's a thing too. That goes back to the personal responsibility of the wrestler and how they want to get themselves over to the next level, because you can't pick your genetics. You can't decide what your genetics are. You're either going to be 5'2" or you're going to be 6'7". But you can work out and you can make yourself as presentable as possible. And a lot of times, a lot of guys don't necessarily take that too seriously, but they're really good wrestlers. And sometimes there's really good wrestlers, and they take the body seriously. And there's different aspects to the game, and then there's different people who gravitate to those aspects, and obviously that's their strong point, and then they have a weak point over here. But if you can make it as even as possible, if you can be as well-rounded as possible, that's the goal. But I think that like if you have a strength, you have to bear on it. You have to jump onto it, So whoever has like the gift of gab and they're actually able to talk and they can talk fans into the crowd, they're probably not going to be having hour matches. Not normally. If sometimes you get them though. Sometimes you get those guys who have that type of talent. But yeah, he's the guy that makes the stars, or helps make the stars. Nobody does it all by themselves, and not only one single person. Not even that star makes themselves. It's a team effort, and everybody. The point of that is to get somebody as a star so that everybody gets paid more because it brings up the business. That's the point of it all. So, if one of your buddies are getting over, you want to try to get them over so that we can all get paid. Like, yeah, get him over, and then I'll go be a heel, and I'll piss people off more than anything, There are also some guys who look like $1 million until the bell rings. Yes, George. George coming in with that true, real, legitimate experience. That lets me know you have definitely been in the wrestling business, because that's one of the worst cases that you can have is somebody who looks like $1 million all the way up until that bell rings. And then when that bell rings, where'd all that money go? Yeah, it went out the window is where it went. All that money went out the window. And just so you guys know, because I need to be promoting myself, obviously, if you see Paul Jordane at any type of show, and ain't no bullshit, you get $1 million wrestler with $1 million in-ring work. And I don't even say that bullshit. That's not even bullshit. That's 100% true. 100% true. The quality. Quality.
You want to referee me and Brett? Referee me and Brett.
I already have
I
other
want you to
arrangements
referee us.
made, Jerry.
I want you to referee me and Brett. I'm just
I guess. Okay. So what happened? I guess you just.
900 miles an hour.
I guess I was just so far down. I guess you just didn't hear me or something when I asked you before.
I don't.
Or didn't
Dennis,
think about
I
it.
didn't
Just
even know
think
about it. But I want you to. I want you to.
I appreciate that.
Okay, I want you to. Will you please do it?
Appreciate
It's my
that.
last match. It's my last match. Call me if you can, because I would love it.
I love Terry, man. I love Terry.
My last match.
Terry just seems like a guy like he's like a cowboy you want to hang out with, you know? Who doesn't want to go get beers with Terry Funk? Who wouldn't love going to have beers with Terry Funk and then seeing all the crazy shit? Watch some of his old shit, guys. Watch Terry Funk in his prime, man. Watch him in his prime. You ain't seen none of those. All these crazy wrestlers, they ain't as crazy as this guy.
I appreciate that, Terry. I appreciate that.
I love Terry.
Were you serious?
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, it's cost me $134 to change my ticket.
Well,
Will I make that much?
Well, I was going to pay you.
Close.
I was going to pay you 50.
I'll get half of it back.
I was gonna pay you 50. I was gonna pay you 50. I love Terry Funk.
Well, I was going to pay you.
Close.
I was going to pay you 50.
I'll get half of it back, right?
I was going to pay you 50.
You mean you can double pay me? My wife says, do you really want to do it? I almost broke down and said, it's the main event. It's the main event. You think I'm not going to be in the main event?
Thank you.
I'd rather be in the main event than breathe.
I love the fact that Terry. The only reason Terry did that, obviously, was to have his friend there. And he wanted to have his friend there so bad. He was like, be in the main event. Be in the main event. Do me and Brett. Do me and Brett. I mean, obviously, it's Terry Funk and Bret Hart. There ain't much you got to do anyway. Everything's already done. All right, Shy. Oh, thank you, Shy. Nice comment. Nice comment. He was my favorite NWA World Champion. Yeah, one of the best too. One of the wild. You never knew what you were getting when you got a Terry Funk match. You never knew what you were going to get. You didn't know if he was going to pull out some sticks. I was reading in Dusty Rhodes' book earlier. He was wrestling. He wrestled Dory Funk Jr. for an hour, and then the very next night he wrestled Terry Funk for 10 minutes. The hour match that he had with Dory Funk was pretty good. Pretty good. They went through their deal. They did the normal thing. They had to stop with the Terry Funk match. 10 minutes in, they had to stop because Terry Funk had these people going crazy. He kept pulling out, like, I think they were chopsticks. There were some type of little pieces of wood during the match, kind of like the original Sheik used to do. If you're familiar with how the original Sheik used to hide his weapons and stab people with the forks. I don't know if he used the forks or was that Abdullah. That was probably just Abdullah. The Sheik probably used a fork too, I would think. Anyway, not the Iron Sheik, the original Detroit Sheik. But yeah, it was crazy. Now I wanted to go back and find it, and I couldn't find those matches. So I love I love reading about matches and then not being able to find them. But then I'll get like the Buddy Rogers book, and then they'll talk about something that happened, and then I'll click right back to it, and then I'll find it on YouTube. And YouTube is so beautiful for that. But I love this. This took me on memory lane. Ever since I was a kid, Terry Funk has always been an old guy. And it seemed like he never aged. It looked like he's always looked like this. Just my whole life, he's always just looked like that. I went on to Twitter the other day, and it blew my mind because I didn't know that Terry Funk had a Twitter. But Terry Funk has a Twitter, guys, and this is Terry Funk now. It disappeared. Did it come back yet? Let's see. Looks like well, let me go away and then come back. Let's see. What's going on with you? There we go. ECW Terry was my favorite. Yeah, exactly. Terry was one of my favorites too, man. I loved Terry starting whenever I was younger. I think Sheik and Abby used the fork. Yeah, I think it was Sheik did use the fork too, though, right? Like he hid it in his trunks. I like his old stuff better than his deathmatch stuff. Yeah, and that's the thing, though. Did you ever notice how much Dick Slater mimicked Terry Funk? I never actually noticed that. Now I'm going to go back and watch because I didn't realize that. But I know a lot of people do mimic Terry Funk. A lot of people mimic Terry Funk. And you're talking about Terry? Yeah, well, his deathmatch stuff, and that's the thing about like Terry Funk. Because Terry Funk had to, like, he felt like, I guess, obligated to always to always perform, and he put himself out there, and he did the ECW thing, and he did a lot of crazy shit. But when it comes to like the deathmatch stuff, a lot of older wrestlers, you know, when they can't physically perform as well and put together like as good of a match, a lot of times if they transition into the deathmatch stuff, they're more capable of getting by and still being entertaining and having a high entertainment value. I mean, it's more violent and it's for a different crowd, but it's still money, and they're still able to work. It's a lot easier for them to be able to do that. So I see why Terry was able to, because he wasn't having those 5-star 1 hour matches anymore because he was physically incapable of doing that at that age. So it just takes time, it just takes time. And then I think that when it comes to that type of stuff, yeah, I was surprised too when I found out Terry had a Twitter account. Is that badass though? It's so cool seeing him. I'm trying to get the video up, but it looks like it looks like everything's pooped out on me right now. So let's see. Let me try one more time. Let's see if we got it. Let's see if we got it. This dang thing. No, it's not going to do it. All right. I'm going to try. I'm going to do this. See if that works. No. All right. Let's try. We'll try one more. I got one more idea. And then I will see what we've got going. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Where are we? Oh, no. Damn it. Sorry, guys. It looks like the video's pooping out on me. Let's see. Let's see. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. All right. What is that there? Did I find it? That's not it. That's not it. That's not working. Not working, guys. Not working. We just lost all of our visual aid, which is fine. We don't need it. It's just I had a couple more videos I was going to share and kind of go over and make fun of, but it's looking like we're not going to have it now. Thanks a lot, Streamlabs. Always fucking me on this deal. Boom. Let's add source. All right, let's see. How's that? Boom. 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 Nope, not going to work. Damn. That's very lame. Sorry, guys. I really thought that I was going to be able to pull that one out. That ain't working, though. All right. I got one more idea I'm going to try. Let's see. Boom. Nope. Not on there either. Damn you, Streamlabs. Damn you. That's disappointing. Yeah, and I can't get it to pop back up. So I was going to show you. Damn it, guys. I was going to show you frickin' Terry Funk now. Damn, that sucks. Fucking bullshit with the fucking app always sucking, man. Why does it always gotta suck? All right. One more time, and then we're just going to continue on with the show. Great to see you again, Barry Jones. We'll see you later on, brother. Thank you for joining us. I'm just trying to fix this technical difficulties that I got going on right now. Hopefully it's going to work. We'll see. There we go. All right. We're good now. Good deal. Good deal. There's the funker. Here's the funker now. Here we go. This is what I was wanting. This was what I was wanting. Here we go. All right. We're back, guys. We're back. Sorry, guys. Sorry. We're back. We are back. We are back. All right. That's Terry Funk now, though. Isn't that awesome? He looks like Santa Claus. Not what I was expecting. I was not expecting old Terry Funk.
And I am on Twitter. And I am I, and you are you. I don't want any impersonators. Look, I am Terry Funk. And
It looks like old Terry Funk, but that's Terry Funk.
And I am I, and you are you.
I am I, and you are
I
you.
don't want any impersonators.
Don't want any impersonators. I love it, though. I just love the fact that Terry Funk is on Twitter. Isn't that great? I'm going to turn the audio down and let that play a little bit, and we'll go back to it. Now I'm going to go back to the chat since we got that little footage figured out, and it's not so bad. All right. Daystone Wolf. I was surprised when I found out Terry had a Twitter. Me too. Sheik used to use a fork. Used to use a wood stake thing. Yes. And Terry Funk actually used a wood stake thing too on Dusty in the match that I was reading about. George, when I worked for Dusty Rhodes, he had color 8x10s of Terry Funk over his toilet in the bathroom. That's great. Yeah, because they had crazy huge feuds. They had some crazy huge feuds. That had to have been great back then, dude. That had to be great, especially being able to witness that. Really enjoying this hate to run to the. Oh yeah, gotcha, Barry. And then another guy that looked old but was really young was Earthquake. Ah, Earthquake, really? He was pretty young. Was that John Tenta or is that the other one, the Shark? I think Shark was John Tenta. I don't know. So wrestling. Wrestling always, it's wrestling's one of the most ridiculous businesses. But then Terry Funk's always great, always fun to listen to, always fun to deal with, always fun to check out. He's always fun. He's always entertaining. Always. Terry Funk is. But then we go on a little bit further into the movie, and you love Terry Funk, you love Mick Foley, but Jake the Snake Roberts, with his crazy childhood and his crazy history that he's been dealing with his life. Sorry guys, my fucking screen, everything's falling apart here. I swear it. His brother Dory looked the same way 30 years ago. Right, exactly. Yeah, his brother Dory looked like Dory forever, just like Ric Flair. Ric Flair always looked like Ric Flair to me. He was always old, so it wasn't like, he aged slowly. He probably aged slower than what I would have really thought he was, Yes, Shark was Earthquake. Ah, hell yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I kind of figured. If I would have seen the video, I would have known, because John Tenta and that type of stuff. But yeah, the fucked up one, the really fucked up one, which is, and this is just with anything. This isn't even just for pro wrestling. This is just messed up any way you go about it. The way that poor fucking Jake the Snake even came into this earth is his father, who was Grizzly Smith, who was a veteran in professional wrestling. He'd been around for a long time, a booker, promoter, big 6'4" guy. Yeah, he. I have weird thoughts about him because I've heard this stuff about like the Jake the Snake stuff, but then reading the Dusty Rhodes book, you see Dusty talking about how they all looked up to Grizzly and how they all tried to make him happy, and they all like he was kind of like their pops. He was like their father type figure with a lot of the younger wrestlers at that time, because he had been older. So he has a lot of history being in wrestling and doing a lot of things there, making a lot of money, being a businessman, basically, after wrestling, after he was a wrestler, being a businessman. But the way that he became Jake the Snake's father is he was dating a woman and left their bedroom in the middle of the night and went to her 12-year-old daughter's bedroom and got her pregnant. So that's what Jake the Snake is starting off life with. That's just what he's starting off with right off the bat. He's a baby that came from that type of situation, and definitely not a good thing. As I'm sure that they had a lot of family problems, especially when the mother found out, and all just a mess. But from what everybody said was like Grizzly Smith had that type of personality. He was that type of a person. He did that stuff. This wasn't the first time that he did that. And then even Jake the Snake's stepmother, who was with him, was molesting him. So there's a lot of bullshit that Jake the Snake had to deal with. And then everybody kind of gives him shit, and they're like, "Oh, Jake the Snake. Oh, wow, you on drugs again, Jake? Oh, Jake the Snake showed up to this place all fucked up on some type of drugs." He said had a lot of stuff that he didn't like. And even in Beyond the Mat, he was talking about his stepdad, who he really, really liked. Dressed up as Santa Claus, went into the attic and got electrocuted and died in the attic. He was up there for like a couple days before they found him. But he was dressed up as Santa Claus. So Jake the Snake is like the complete opposite. He is he has such a crazy background. It is so sad. His sister had to deal with the same things. And it just keeps going on and on and on. And it's like, obviously, you see why he doesn't have a good relationship with his own children. He doesn't even know how to have that. He doesn't even know how to have a real relationship because growing up, the piece of shit Grizzly Smith didn't know how to be a real father. I mean, he didn't know how to actually treat this kid. All he's doing is getting his rocks off. I don't think he's like, "Oh, we're going to have a baby now and we're going to have a family and we're going to have..." No, obviously not, because he didn't turn out that way, you know, especially with the mother being so young. It's crazy to think about that. But that's where he came from. His mother was like 13 when she had him. Not an easy way to start off. And his motivation was to turn the wrestling business because he never felt like he got love from his father. He felt like his father wasn't around. I mean, obviously not if he's a wrestler, especially if he's a wrestler and he's on the road and he's promoting and booking. He's definitely not going to be around. Allison said, "I didn't know that about Jake the Snake." Yeah. Mahoney said, "Wow, I didn't know that." Yeah, he's been through the ringer, man. Like Jake the Snake is like that's the thing. That's why it's like it's very easy to make jokes and it's very easy to be like, "Yeah, ha ha ha, yeah, but did you come from something like that? Have you ever been from anything similar to that? Do you know like that's not very easy stuff to deal with." And sometimes people feel like they have to use some type of a substance or something to fix that. Cuz we're all that can sometimes be our worst enemy. And it's just crazy. Yeah, Jake the Snake's sister was pregnant 3 times before she was 18, then was kidnapped and reportedly killed by the jealous ex-wife of the 55-year-old man she married when she was a teenager. She was 18, and she married a 55-year-old, and that 55-year-old's wife killed her. As tragic as Robert's tale is, he fared better than his sibling. Yeah, she died. Robert said wrestlers who knew about his father would beat the fucking shit out of me in the ring for what he had done. So basically, he would get the shit kicked out of him. Jake the Snake would get the shit kicked out of him because his father's a pedophile. And it's not like Jake the Snake has no bearings on that. Like you can't control anybody. You can't pick your parents. We talk about that a lot. You can't pick your parents. So what do? You just go get your ass kicked, and then you become one of the better wrestlers that have ever lived. But as a boy, Roberts struggled to accept reality, unable to believe his father was an evil man. Do you want to believe that do you want to believe that about your own father? You don't want to believe that. God, you don't want to believe that, do you? It's different for me. I don't know who, like, that means nothing to me, you know? Sure. Robert said wrestlers who knew, oh yeah, I did that. Where are we? Life only got more cruel for Roberts. He was regularly raped and beaten by his stepmother, which I talked about earlier. The last one raped me and beat me and threatened me and told me my dad would kill me. He would. I believe that her dad really would do that. I totally believe that. Yeah, man. This guy's been through the ringer. But I just wanted my dad to be proud of me so that all these things factoring in keeping quiet while his wife beats me, has me do her, and beats me again afterwards. That's called rape, and that shit screws your head up for life. Now, what you do with it as a kid, I hid that shit, man. I stuffed it away. Roberts was confused, ashamed, and had nowhere to go and no one to confide in, so he turned to alcohol and drugs like most people. Like most people. And then, of course, the famous quote by Jake the Snake, "What a fucking loser. You can't even die right." Yeah, man. Yeah, he started drinking at 11 or 12. And of course, he had a crazy life. And he had so much shit that he had to deal with. I can't even imagine having to deal with that type of shit. You know, like the mental strain on one tragedy after another, and they keep coming and they don't stop. It's just too much. I had no idea Rockin' Robin and Sam Houston was his sister and brother. No, I had no idea either. I'll have to look that up and see because I didn't know that. Yeah, Quake was young. He was my age when he passed away in 2003, 42. Dang! That's crazy. I didn't know he was that young when he passed away. Yeah, he was very young the whole time. I mean, he was 42 when he passed away. That's crazy. Yeah, that sucks. But, you know what doesn't suck? Getting your head smashed in by The Rock. I think everybody likes to do that. Everybody should be excited about getting your head smashed in by The Rock, right? It's The Rock! And that was one of the big points that that they had with this movie was the pivotal moment when Mankind, a.k.a. Mick Foley, a.k.a. Cactus Jack, a.k.a. Dude Love, was getting his head bashed in. And this guy has written a couple of New York Times bestsellers. He's written a couple of novels. He's done a lot of stuff. And I've seen more recent interviews with Mick Foley, and he's talking about how he thinks that the whole getting his head smashed in thing with these are finally catching up with him, and he thinks that he's starting to get some of the brain stuff. So let's try to keep Mick Foley in our prayers and in our thoughts because ooh. This is the most famous. This is like one of the most famous parts right here. It's his children watching him get his head bashed in. Ooh, come on, Mickey. Come on, Mickey. Poor Mickey. And don't tell me he's going to walk right in front of his kids because he knows what he's doing. They know what they're doing. Why is she even crying? You shouldn't have even been there because you wanted the footage. You wanted the footage of your kids crying so you can make a good movie. Is that what it is? Why do you have them there in the front row if you know you're going to get your head bashed in, especially 11 times with a chair? Maybe not have your kids there. Maybe. And you know, Mick does feel bad about it later because he sees the video, and obviously, you know, that makes him feel like a bad parent. But a little bit of foresight, guys. A little bit of foresight. He's got the leather mask on, but I mean, there's still velocity coming into that head, and that force has to go somewhere. They are not happy about that. But look how messed up he is, you know. Without the chairs, a lot of times guys will make it to the backstage looking exactly like this without the chairs, just by doing what we do. Just because it's just, you beat the shit out of each other, man. It's rough, and it hurts. You guys hear about, like, how I'm hurting all the time? I'm not even wrestling every day. I fall down a lot, though. Oh, she just wants to check on her dada. And they're cheering him. You know, he got his head bashed in for the business. You know, hopefully he got a good paycheck for it. Have you watched Mick Foley's reality TV show? I didn't know he had a reality TV show. Is that on the network? It's got to be on the network. Maybe I'll check it out. Is it worth checking out? Mick and The Rock had a great feud. Yeah, Mick and The Rock definitely had a great feud. You know who else had a great feud? Mick and Triple H. You watched that Royal Rumble match, the street fight that they had? Oh, man, amazing. Mick is working a little bit, I think. Yeah, no, I definitely think he's working. Darnell. I can't see him not working that. He's a worker. He's going to take advantage of the situation. I'm sure he's working. I mean, I'm not one. I wouldn't put money on it, but you know, yeah. Quake was young. I had no idea. Rockin' Rebel. Yeah, that's crazy to me. Have you watched Mick Foley's reality TV show? What is it about? Is it about his kids now or something? I would think. But anyway. Yeah, the Mick Foley stuff is good, but the very, very last clip before we get out of here is I know that I said there's a bunch of legendary shit from this movie, guys. There's a bunch of legendary shit from this movie. And now this is my favorite one. This is what we're going to leave the show on, guys. This is what we're going to end everything on. Are you ready? Are you ready? Is he going to puke? Is he going to puke? Is he gonna puke? Is he gonna puke? Go ahead, puke. That's my Vince McMahon. Now let's see if I was close.
Well, I've got one thing I want you to do for me, okay? And that's going to be right back over here.
Just one thing, brother. Just one thing.
Okay. You want a little coffee or what? Huh?
You want a little coffee?
I think I'll be good. Some more?
Huh? Try not to get it on the rest of my table here.
I won't
Huh?
do that.
Can you do that? Huh?
Try not to.
You gonna get sick?
That's a possibility.
Huh? Oh. Huh? Oh my God!
It's a possibility.
He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke!
Oh, man.
It's a billionaire.
Try not to get it on the rest of my table here.
So y'all know, it's a billionaire.
Can you do that? Huh?
Huh? Huh? You gonna regurgitate? You gonna baby bird it?
You gonna get sick?
That's a possibility.
Huh? Oh. Huh? Oh my God! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke!
That's it. Oh, man.
And on that one, we'll leave it on that. He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! Mahoney Games, I'm gonna check it out. I'll check it out. I didn't know they had one recently. I'll check it out. It's on the network. Maybe I'll start watching some of that tonight. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining. This was a fun little episode. It was more wrestling-centric, but, that's how we do, man. I am a wrestler, so I like to talk about wrestling sometimes. Thank you guys for joining. Make sure that you share this post. Share, like, comment, subscribe, all of the other good bullshit that you get with it. Go to Jordane.shop. Make sure that you go there, get you a t-shirt, get you a picture, get you a magazine, get you I don't have a magazine, but I do have magnets. Bunch of different things there. So make sure that you go to Jordane.shop. Lots of updates coming on that episode. Endgame Jordane at Instagram and Twitter. Paul Jordane on Facebook and YouTube. You can find me at Paul Jordane on Twitch. You can find me all over the place, guys. We're going to keep this train rolling. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be an earlier episode. We might have SVR. I'm going to find out about that tomorrow. But we'll have an episode around 2 p.m. tomorrow. So you all have a great night. Love you. See you tomorrow.